Last year, I lost two of my closest girlfriends. Both of them. Married! My girl Samira, she did it up Iraqi style. My other friend Tina, she had a traditional Italian wedding. You know, got married in a big church to a dude she hates for security. Now, if you're getting married or know someone who is, you're in for a treat because today we're talking weddings and cooking up some bitchin' canapes for the shower or something like that. First up, pastrami-style cured gravlax with sweet English mustard on pumpernickel toast. Then we're making crunchy fried rigatoni chips stuffed full of herb ricotta. And finally, champagne chocolate truffles. I love liquor. Panos reports on salmon.
Good old farm-raised, huh? Versus the wild stuff you wish you could afford.
The spice agent yaps about hot English mustard.
And how in some cultures, it's tradition before you marry to bleach your...
You're watching Nadia G's Bitchin' Kitchen. Bridezilla bites. Bleaching your... Every wedding needs a shower. A cold one, to wake up a bit. Did you know the average cost of a wedding is $30,000? And the average divorce rings in at about $20K. 1 in 3 people get divorced, so you, sir, are officially $50K in debt. And we're thinking of firing you. Poor guy. As you can see, getting married is expensive, so I figure let's save a bit by making our own wedding shower canapes. Now, our first dish is pastrami-style Salmon Gravlax. Now, Gravlax is a Nordic dish that's normally cured in salt, sugar, and dill. But let's just say that Sven's techno party is bland at best. Plus, let's face it, nobody likes Nordic people, with their pointy shoes and duplicitous ways. Although, those from Iceland, they're quirky and deliciously nubile. So we're gonna spice up this gravlax with a pastrami rub. In a bowl, throw in 1 cup of kosher salt, 12 crushed garlic cloves, 1/4 cup of smoked paprika, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of coriander seeds, 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard seeds, 2 tablespoons of crushed fennel seeds. I love the smell of that. 1 tablespoon of crushed black peppercorns, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves. Mix it up. Here I have 1 fresh wild salmon fillet. The skin is still on, it's deboned and sliced lengthwise into 2 pieces. Now you're gonna lay the salmon skin sides down and pack our dry rub all over these fillets. Now really rub it in there, all over it, even on the skin. While I coat these, here's Panos with more on salmon.
Thanks, Nads. 80% of the salmon you find at grocery stores is farm-raised. Some of you may be confused and say, farm-raised? Salmon can't breathe on a farm. Siopi, Yaneka. Bro, when they say farm-raised, they actually mean they grow them in pools. They just call them farms to confuse you. On the positive side, farm-raised salmon is cheaper, about 1/4 of the price of wild salmon. On the negative side, the flesh is a bit mushy because they can't really swim around in those cramped pools. Now, wild salmon has a firmer flesh and a deeper red color that's shpak, ounce for ounce. It has much more flavor than the farm stuff. It also has more healthy omega-3s because you can't thrive on fish pellets, huh?
That make no sense.
I know. I'm tired, Angie.
Thanks, Panos. When we get back, we're gonna finish curing this gravlax and announce the winner of an all-inclusive vacation with Nadia G. Stay bitchin'.
There's no budget for that.
What? They'll pay for it. I need a vacation. Welcome back. Today we're cooking up wedding shower canapes. Now, most people spend about a year planning their wedding. And between the dress, location, guest list, menu, decor, DJ, photographer, that kind of party should take you at least a week to plan, maybe a month, max. Well, what's wrong with people? Focus. Most of us don't even spend a year planning our careers. You just sign up for any class after 1 p.m., pitch in for a keg, and call it a day. Priorities, people. It's not just a big word with an S, huh?
What?
No, it's the word priorities. There's an S in there. Trust. Our fish has been sufficiently rubbed. Now wrap each slice tightly with plastic wrap. Now place one piece of fish on top of the other. And wrap them together with more plastic wrap, like Chinese bondage. Next, slap the other pan on top of the fish and weigh it down with a couple of tomato cans or anything heavy. And we'll put this in the fridge for 3 days. Every 24 hours, you're gonna unwrap the fish and drain the liquid. Then rewrap the fish and reverse the position of the fillets. Do this once a day for 3 days. Everybody now, every 24 hours, unwrap the fish and drain the liquid. Then rewrap the fish and reverse the position of the fillets. Do this once a day for 3 days. Huh? Come on, let's go. Every 24 hours, unwrap the fish and drain the liquid. You win some, lose some, I guess, huh? I got some ready to go! Unwrap the salmon and scrape off all the salt and the spices. Taste it. If it's too salty for you, just rinse it and pat dry. Now, using a super sharp knife, slice the salmon nice and thin, about 1/8 of an inch on the bias. You know, speaking of knives, a good chef's knife makes an amazing wedding gift. But you know what makes an even better gift? Money. That's how us Italians do it. When you're invited to a wedding, you're expected to bring na busta, an envelope stuffed full of cash to cover your food, and a little extra so the couple can get their own stinking toaster. But the busta is not guaranteed. See, if they serve chicken, you remove $50. The band is good, you put back 10. They force you to sit through some stupid flamenco dance, but they have an open bar. You get the picture. Here I have some pumpernickel toast. Rub it with garlic. English mustard. Whew! This stuff is like wasabi, so we're gonna add a little bit of honey, about a tablespoon or so, and mix it up. While I get this going, here's the spice agent with his English mustard report.
Thank you, Nadia. Today I will be talking about spicy English mustard. Not to be mistaken with, well, normal mustard. This one is much fancier and much more spicy. It's like the Rolls Royce of mustard. English mustard contains ground mustard seeds, flour, and turmeric. It's made from both white, brown, or black seeds. Usually it's bright yellow in color with a very, very spicy tasting. And if it's not, well, you got ripped off. It's a specialty of England and rarely seen elsewhere. And if you see it, well, grab it. For us in Ra'anana, it's very lucky, like a 4-leaf clover. And speaking of lucky, Nadia, I have to ask, what do you know about Bridezillas? I, Yecheskel Aaron Mizrahi III, know the true meaning of Bridezilla. For those of you who know my story, well, you know I was married 12 times in my life. And believe me when I tell you that every time was worse than the last. I remember being so nervous the first time, asking myself how to do a question pop. Should I train Shachar, my goat, to speak so he can ask her? Should I buy a star and name it after her? Should I propose by email? I had all these cute ideas at the time, but none of them worked. But I'll tell you something. Until I got married, I didn't know the true meaning of happiness. But then it was too late.
I'm telling you, it was all like... Thanks,
Yecheskel Mizrahi.
Let's plate this dish. I've sliced our pumpernickel bread into nice little pieces. Gonna slather on our honey mustard. Not too much. This mustard's powerful. Some of our gorgeous salmon. It's kind of a little bit like jerky. I love jerky. And you can top it off with some pickles, arugula, or both. Bon appetit! This salmon is so buttery. You can really taste the fennel, the garlic, the coriander, and this mustard's really got kick. Homemade Gravlax can't be beat. Actually, it can. When we get back, we're gonna make our herbed ricotta and talk wedding don'ts. And we're back with Bridezilla Bites. Now, statistics show that marriage in America has dropped over 20% since the 1970s. Now, back then, everyone thought they had to get married. Back then, everyone also thought that lead was a great tooth filling. Now, marriage may be at an all-time low, but at least these days, people are getting married for the right reasons. According to research from the University of Iowa, mutual attraction and love is now the #1 characteristic women seek in a partner. But back in the day, it was all about financial security. Luckily, that wasn't the case with my mom. When I asked her why she married my dad, she looked at me and said, he had good teeth and he didn't hang out at the bar like all those other stupid Italians. For our next canapé, we're gonna fry up some rigatoni pasta until they're nice and crispy, then stuff them full of creamy herbed ricotta. I'm too excited. First, dump half a pound of rigatoni pasta in salted boiling water and par cook it for about 6 minutes. Very important that you drain the pasta really good because we're gonna be deep frying it. It's dangerous. Leave that alone for now. Now on medium heat, you're gonna fry up 3 minced garlic cloves in a tablespoon of olive oil for about 30-40 seconds until nice and golden. Now pop it in a bowl so the garlic doesn't burn. Wanna stop the cooking process. Add 3/4 cup of ricotta cheese, 1/4 cup of mascarpone. If you can't find this stuff, use more ricotta. You can even use goat cheese. A teaspoon of minced fresh oregano. I'm using fresh, you could also use dry. A teaspoon of minced fresh parsley. This you can only use fresh because dried parsley tastes like let's face it. 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, some sea salt, and freshly cracked pepper. I'm so good at that move. Use a hand blender to make it nice and smooth. Now give it a taste. See if you want to add more salt, pepper. It's perfect. Because everything's always perfect on TV. Time to fry up the pasta. Now heat some canola oil, or any oil with a high smoke point, to 350 degrees. And crisp up the rigatoni in small batches for about 1 to 3 minutes until they're nice and golden. And drain them on a wire rack. Oh, look at the color on these things. And all those little crispy bubbles on the pasta skin. Ooh. Sprinkle them with a bit of sea salt. Now we're gonna stuff these suckers with our creamy cheese and herb filling. I know, pretty genius idea for a wedding canapé, huh? But here are a few things that are not so smart when it comes to weddings. Don't forget to sign a prenup. But Jimmy's a nice guy. He'd never take me to the cleaners. Sure, Jimmy's a nice guy now. But what happens if you have a midlife crisis and decide to shtup a couple of young models at the same time? Oh, Jimmy won't be so nice then, huh? You gotta plan for these things. They can happen anytime. Don't have a nerdy bridal shower. Tea parties, a mystical garden gathering. Sorry, me, I don't do gardens. If I'm spending money on a gift, I want at least 2 blackouts in return, not some stinking shrubbage. And please don't write your own wedding vows. I know it sounds nice because you get to express yourself. But we've all seen you express yourself on Facebook, Manushka, and nobody needs to hear the poetic version. Let's finish these babies. Our herb cheese filling has been put into a piping bag by magical nymphs. If you don't have a piping bag or magical nymphs, just grab a sack and cut the corner, nice and budget, you cheap twit. Oh, sorry, that was unnecessary. Now fill each rigatoni chip. See? See?
Got it.
Fine.
Let's scoff. Wow, the crispy rigatoni, our creamy cheese, all those herbs, a little bit of garlic. And you know what I love about these things is you could play around with them. You can add sun-dried tomato pesto to the cheese mixture, go for a dessert style of this where you coat them in sugar and put some chocolate in there. I'm a genius, an evil genius. And I mean evil, like I've mugged people.
You haven't mugged people.
Shh, pure. Finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the bridal shower to be over. Oh, and dessert. When we get back, we're gonna make some champagne truffles, and I got a surprise for you.
It's a music video.
Stay tuned.
It's not a surprise now, is it?
Shh. Pure evil. Hey, and we're back with some wedding shower canapes. Now, we all know that brides can get a little bit crazy when it comes to planning their wedding, and my take on Bridezillas is best expressed through song. Hit it.
Nobody cares about your wedding block. White posies versus roses, who gives up? Should you ride in a limo or rent a horse? Girl, you better save your money for the divorce. From engraved invitations to salad fork placement, girl, I think you've gone too far. All we want is open bar to forget the pain of the mermaid dress debate. The bust looks great, but the butt's too loose. And does the beading match my shoes?
Who cares?
Nobody cares about your wedding block. French antique or winter chic, who gives up? Should you hire out a DJ or get a live band? Girl, you better save your money for a prenatal scan.
What? You're like 36 and he has a lazy eye, so...
You're getting married, it's getting scary. You become a lame, detail-obsessed monster bride. You're getting married, you're kinda scary. 18 posts on top, it all should be a capital crime. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, the monster bride.
On to our champagne truffles. Heat half a cup of whipping cream until it starts to steam, a couple of minutes. You can do this over medium heat. Now pour it over 8 ounces of quality dark chocolate that's been chopped. Mix it up until the chocolate is nice and smooth. Add about a 1/4 cup of champagne and 2 tablespoons of hazelnut liqueur. Liqueur? Liquor? What is it? Mix it up good. Cover it up and refrigerate for 2 hours. Now that it's nice and chilled, you're gonna use an ice cream scooper to make little truffly balls. Next, roll each ball in your hands for a little bit just to warm them up, and then roll them in coarse sugar. Now back in the fridge they go for another half hour until they're nice and firm. Bon appetit! The creamy chocolate, you got the crisp flavor of the champagne, and that hazelnut liqueur. So hazelnutty. Again near these things? Really? Today on Bitchin' Kitchen, we cooked up some spack bridal shower canapes. Sure, we poked fun at weddings, but some of us want to get divorced. Sorry, I mean married. And for those of you out there who want to celebrate monogamy, I wish you all the best. But you lovebirds, just remember that marriage takes work. And most people, well, we like to get paid to work, so, alla prossima!